By the way, the password for today's attendance will be case study. Okay, just random. Okay, case study. I'm not sure why people are still joining late. Should I admit them or just left them? What do you think?
I think admit them and listen to the reason first.
Okay. Naklah listen to ni. Okay. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the case study video. Any question?
Madam, do you send the link of attendance?
It's in the Telegram.
Okay.
It's pinned in the Telegram. Okay, any question on the case study? If no question, I will just give you the case study, and no question after that. You cannot ask me any question once I've given you the case study. Any question will not be entertained.
Madam, I have a question. There are like 3 issues, right? You said about factual, conceptual, and conflicting values. Do we need to give each issue like an example for each issue for the case study?
It depends on the case study. So if you think there is an issue of the, for example, conceptual issue, if you don't think there is any, you can leave it.
Okay, thank you.
So read carefully. If there is and you didn't put, you will lose mark. Okay. What else? Do you have any more further question? Okay, it means that no question. Okay, everybody, so you are not allowed to ask me any question, and you cannot argue with me any marks I give. Even I give you fail, you accept because you don't have question. Okay, I don't know whether you watch or no. I hope you watch. Maybe you fully understand, that's why there's no question. Therefore, when I give you the question, I will give you after this the question. I give you 2 weeks to do it. It's 30%, it's a lot. So once I give you the question, you can ask question, but if I don't feel like I want to answer it, I won't answer, because if I think that the question should be already asked during the class now. If the question is like it's not possible for you to ask now, then I will entertain. Otherwise, I will just say I already given you the chance to ask question. Okay. It's very subjective, so mostly will be due to me how much I want to give the marks. Okay. Normally I will give the marks based on the clarity of how you answer it and the points that you put. Okay. Will you fail case study? If you are really bad at writing it, yes, possible that you fail the case study. If you fail case study, it's something like you fail the midterm lah. So your carry mark will be very, very bad for your final. But if you put a lot of effort, good effort, then you might score the case study. Okay, final question. Our final call lah. Any question on the case study?
Yeah, madam.
Yes, Bashir.
Is it only 5%?
What do you mean by 5%?
The case study, I mean.
I say 30%.
5.
0.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot. It's 30%, 30%, the case study. Okay, Any more question?
Madam, I have a question. You can hear me?
I cannot hear you, Mutakim. Can you say it louder?
Hello, hello. Madam, you can hear me?
I can, but not very clear.
I have a question, madam.
Better.
I don't understand the creative middle way, madam. That they have 3 way of creative middle way. Can you elaborate more, madam, about that? Because the method they have 3, right? Line drawing, flow charting, and creative middle solution. I didn't get more on creative middle way solution.
Okay, thank you, Mutakim. Let's see if I can open any slide. Let me try to search it first.
You mute, madam.
Thank you. I forgot. Okay, can you see my slide? Okay, so in the creative middleway solution, basically you have to make the like a thinking creatively. You need to use your own like justification without any visual help. It's more subjective. So there are 3 ways in this middle way in this conflicting value. One is using what do you call this? For the first what do you call it example here, if you have conflicting moral choices, one is more obviously significant than the other. So basically, if you use this method, you don't have to draw the line or the flow chart. You just you need to argue which is the best. Sometimes it's very clear one is very significant than the other. I mean what do I call it? The solution is very clear, so no problem. But sometimes it's not clear. You need to be like a politician, find the creative middle way, meaning that you need to creatively think where everybody can be happy with the solution, because sometimes the company will not be happy, the environment will be damaged. Maybe you want to have the company will not profit so much, but in the end the environment will be sustained, something like that. So that's the creative middle way. And then finally, there's also either one case that you choose, you need to justify, you need to like elaborate and in a very clear English so that I will understand what is your argument. And the final one is you have to make the hard choice, meaning you cannot satisfy everybody. So basically you say no, let's send to the police. The police will settle it. Okay, so even if you choose this one, you also have to argue why is it the best solution. Okay, based on your whatever you written, your argument, I will decide whether is this convincing enough, is it the best solution for the given problem. Okay. Mutakim, are you okay?
Okay,
Is
madam.
that answering your question?
Little bit. Yes, madam.
What do you mean by a little bit?
Yes, madam. I have to blend first.
You have to what?
Blend first.
Blend?
Yeah, I have to take some time.
Oh, okay. All right. So any more question on the case study?
Madam,
Hmm?
if we do for the pro and cons of the solution, so it means that is the creative middle way solution.
Yes.
Madam.
Welcome. But make sure you elaborate. Some students use like 1-2 sentences, not enough, so just cut marks. Make sure it's clear for each one. It shows your effort of thinking about the pro and cons or the solution or justification. So it need to be extensive in order for you to get high marks. Okay. Any more question? No? Okay.
Madam, for this case study, sorry for the noise. For this case study, we should find by ourselves, or madam will give question and then we will do it.
I will give a question to everybody, the same question. Okay. All right. All right. So any more question? If no, let's go back to our presentation. Yeah. Can you see my slide?
Yes,
Yeah.
madam.
Okay. Where did we stop last time? I think we stopped here, right? You remember? Anybody remember?
Until here, madam.
Huh?
Until here, this slide.
Okay. Here. All right. Bismillah. Let's start. Let's go through this. So we have ethics from Islamic perspective. Just to remind you, we have ethics with God, with Allah, which means that we need to have our adab and akhlaq with Allah, and also ethics with other creation of Allah, which are the alam, environment, human being. When talk about human being, it's also the ethics with our own self. How do we deal with our own self? You know, sometimes we need to know how Islam asks us to deal with ourselves. So, for example, so this will be different with other non-Muslim. The way we the ethics with oneself. For example, for us, we cannot do suicide. Okay? Although it's our own body, although it's our own life, but Islam doesn't allow us to take our own life. Can anybody tell us why? Why are we not allowed to do suicide or take our own life? It's our life, right? So what's the problem? Anybody? Anybody?
Our life is a gift of Allah. So we must follow Allah Those.
Actually, our life is not even ours. You understand? Even it's our life, right? It's not even ours. So our money is not even ours. It belongs to Allah. So even our soul, our life, it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to Allah. So therefore, we have to follow, as mentioned by Abdul Rahman, we have to follow Allah's, rules or commands on it. So Allah doesn't allow us to take our own life, even though how difficult life is. Okay, that's we understand very clearly on that. Okay, so we have ethics on our own self, and ethics with our family, ethics with the society. This is what your project is about, with society, and ethics with enemy. Also, we have ethics how to deal with the enemy, and also ethics with animals. So Islam teaches everything about this. Okay, next. So I think we mentioned about this. Ethics come from revelation, which is from the Quran and from the Hadith. And we should know that the Quran, there shouldn't be any doubt in the Quran. Anything from the Quran we have to accept as a Muslim, right? And just that the interpretation of the Quran may be slightly different from one perspective to another. So from one tafsir, how they tafsir the ayah is different from one book to another. However, we have to believe that the Quran is a word of God. And then we have hadith. Hadith is what? What is hadith? Anybody? What is hadith? What is hadith?
Prophet Muhammad says.
What is hadith?
What's mentioned by the Prophet of Muhammad.
Only what mentioned? Is it only what he mentioned or he say?
Also what he do.
So also what he do, and also what he keep quiet, you know, whatever his action is can be the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. So for hadith we also know there are, you know, different category of hadith. We have Sahih, Hasan, Da'if. So all this we should learn to know. And the Sahih one, we shouldn't argue with it. We should accept it if it's Sahih. Okay. And then also we have ijma of the ulama, and also qiyas. I think I explained about this in the last class. And we also have secondary ethical Islamic resources, which is not everybody agree, not all, what they call it, mazahib or sect agree on this. But these are supporting ethical Islamic resources, which is the uruf wa adat, custom and following the culture in a place. So the culture of Arab culture is different from the Malay culture, and maybe the Indian culture also different from the Chinese culture. So we also take into consideration of the custom and culture of a place. For example, if you go to Nigeria or Somalia, right, these countries, they like very bright colors. Have you been there? You see their national clothes, right? It's very striking color. But if you go to Saudi, everybody wear black, right? The sisters there. So that's also part of the culture. It doesn't mean that you cannot wear, colorful. It's not haram. It's just a custom and culture over there. So, and then Sort al-Zara'i, blocking means. This one, if you want to learn more, you can just you can Google this. There are a lot of videos on this. So I will go very briefly because we have many other pages to go. Istihsan, to approve, istihlah, masalih wal mursalah. When there is no clear answer and involve public interest. So sometimes, brothers and sisters, this is an important method. There's not sometimes, many times in our life, it is not clear what we should do. So there's the pro and cons. Case study will be also like that. So you should consider what is the benefit or the what do you call it, why we are the benefit and also the consequence of the problem. Then is this hub the past accompanies the present without any interaction or changes? This one I don't really understand, so you can Google this. To be honest, I don't understand this. Syar'u man qablana, body of rules ordained by Allah from the nations before the Muslim Ummah through revelation to the Prophet and Apostle. So this is like Sharia before the Rasulullah Sallam. There is some Sharia, so we can look at it and see if we agree with it. And all these secondary ethical Islamic resources, it cannot be against the Quran and Sunnah. So Quran and Sunnah is the main. The others, if you want to use it, must be in accordance to the Quran and the Sunnah. And fatwa sahabi means word by the Sahaba, and amali ahlul Madinah, practiced by the people of Madinah. So they are these some of the references. If you want to use other secondary ethical Islamic resources. Okay, so what is this? Try to see. Also, this in the Quran, there are many verses relating to muamalat, ibadah. I'm not sure this muakahat or munakahat. I think munakahat, and maybe there's a typo here. And also, so there are many verses relating to laws and Sharia in Islam. So this is where our references are. Therefore, in order to use this, we need to understand Quran. Okay, in order to use this, we need to understand Quran. Therefore, as an engineer even, we need to have a at least basic understanding what is the Quran is saying on certain things. And even if we don't know, we should ask those who knows. Okay. Right. So ethics of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So it's a long hadith. Can somebody read this one here? So that I won't be talking. Other people can read it. Anybody? Anybody? Please read this. Can you see this? Are you sleeping? What?
Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, said, whilst we were in the mosque with the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah exalt his mention, how to say it?
What?
Bedouin came and stood urinating in the mosque. The companions of the messenger of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, may Allah mention, said, stop it, and were about to attack him. But the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah mention, said, do not interrupt him, leave him alone. So they left him until he had finished urinating. Then the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah mention, called him and said to him, in this mosque, it is not right to do anything like urinating or defecating. They are only for remembering Allah, praying and reading Quran, or words to that effect. Then he commanded a man who was there to bring a bucket of water and throw it over the urine, and he did so. Muslim.
Okay, thank you, brother. Can anybody tell me what is this on the ethics?
I think in this ethic, instead of trying to attack the person like the other Sahaba, the Prophet Muhammad SAW decide to tell the person that this is wrong first before taking any action. So you tell that because the person doesn't know whether it is right or wrong.
Okay. So so do you think the Sahabat was wrong or not?
For me, I think the Sahabat isn't wrong because the niat of Sahabat is to protect the sacred place, but but the action is to to us, maybe because they did not consider what the man is thinking. The man doesn't know. So both is correct, but
So if
wrong
you
at the same
see,
time.
you know, nowadays, brother, what's your name? Why your name is not coming out in the Zoom?
My name is
Your name.
Iqbal.
So brother Iqbal, if you go to the masjid and somebody suddenly urinate in the middle of the masjid, what will you do?
I will stop. I will obviously stop him. Like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Then after that, so he doesn't stop. Then what?
I'll pull him outside, of course. Go for me.
And then after that, you pull him. But you know, in this hadith, you know what happens is, the Prophet asked the Sahabat to let this Bedouin finish the urinating.
Yeah.
But us, you know, maybe some of you will punch. You're crazy, you know, shout and everything. You know, what are you doing in this masjid? Go out from here. So this is masjid. So this hadith is actually very beautiful. It's telling us about the character, the akhlaq, which is the ethics of the Prophet Muhammad SAW. That's why the hadith says, there's a kana khuluquhul Quran. There's another, I can't remember this Sahabah, I think it was saying, or the Quran, I can't remember, but it say the khuluq, the akhlaq of Rasulullah SAW is Quran. So that's why, it's easier if you want to follow somebody, if you want to follow Islam, it's easier to see a person doing it. So the Sahabat was being, educated by Rasulullah SAW in terms of action. So in this case, it's a real situation where there's a Bedouin. Bedouin is very, they are not educated. You know, have you seen, in R&R, or they put, I don't know whether you seen in our Malaysia R&R, there's a, like, they put a, what do you call it, sign say do not urinate here in the wudu place. Have you seen that? Yes. Why do you think they put that? It's only recently, like 3-5 years back. It wasn't like there before. Do you know why? Anybody? Where you take wudu, they put that sign, So, do you know why?
Maybe when I first saw it, I thought like it's aiming for the children or something, because doesn't know.
Maybe the children, but actually no. When I asked around, it's actually, when there is a new flood of tourists. But I'm not okay. Let's stop recording here for a while. So in this case, can you see? Can you see?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Okay. So in this case, this Bedouin doesn't understand Islam yet fully. So, and then he came to the middle of the masjid and urinate. And Sahaba and Rasulullah was there. And all the Sahaba was really angry. Of course, this is masjid where you put your, your forehead to pray. And then they are about to attack. Someone to just like push or or penggal, put the knife on the neck. But instead of doing that, so Rasulullah was very calm, even in the masjid. And this is how Rasulullah teach. So, but the messenger Rasulullah said, do not interrupt him. It means that let him finish urinating. Punya lah, the very beautiful akhlak of Rasulullah. So do not interrupt him, leave him alone. So leave him alone until, so they left him until he had finished urinating. So Rasulullah was looking at that. Everybody are looking at it, and this Bedouin do nothing, just finished the urinating. Then Rasulullah SAW call him, say, brother, come here. I want to talk to you, said to him. So Rasul said to him, then you know what Rasulullah said? Instead, does Rasulullah scold the Bedouin? Say, oh, why you this is the secret, you are a stupid Muslim or something like that, right? Nothing, not even a single scold by Rasulullah SAW. He just explained to Bedouin what is this masjid. In this mosque, in masajid, it is not right to do anything like urinating or defecating. So you're not supposed to urinate. These places are only for remembering Allah, praying and reading Quran, or words to that effect. Then, and for us, right, after we tell that, say, okay, we need to punish this boy, this Bedouin. So, but no, and then we need to ask him to clean up of his urination. But no, Rasulullah SAW, instead of doing that, he commanded another sahabah, who was there, to bring a bucket of water and throw it over the urine, and he did so. So somebody else clean up the mess. So this is a high character of Rasulullah SAW. That's why all the Sahaba love Rasulullah SAW very much, because he's very, very, very kind, very kind. Very kind. So that's why everybody who sees him will love him because of his character. And this is the ethics that we want to follow, the ethics of Prophet Muhammad SAW. We might not be as high as Rasulullah SAW. This is like, wow. But we should aim to be. Although we cannot be 100%, because we can never be like Rasulullah SAW, but we know what is the standard. So this is the standard. You know what is right. So the Sahaba, when they look Rasulullah doing this, they understand, oh, this is the way. You shouldn't scold everybody straight away. You should know why they are doing it. So that is Islam. Okay. But it's different. For example, you already told the Bedouin or the student, do not do this, do not do this, do not do this, and the student will do, and then there is punishment. Okay, then that is punishment. But in this case, the Bedouin doesn't know the ethics of a masjid. Okay, any question here before we proceed? No? Okay, ethics in decision making. So regarding this, this is a commentary on the hadith. In Islam, I already commented in this too. Teaching and informing rather than punishing. The best is actually you teach a person what is right and what is wrong instead of punishing. Punishing should be the last course. So that's why if you see somebody, your friend, which are not right, so you should inform, advise, not change, then we need to punish. Okay. And also, the interesting thing, so somebody else go and clean it. One of the point is not to embarrass other people. So for example, so the Sahabah clean it, so the Bedouin can stay at the back. He doesn't have to be, reminded of his mistakes. So the Bedouin will also love Rasulullah SAW. So that's the ethics of an example of the high morality of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay. So in life, brothers and sisters, we are supposed to always make decision. Everything in life is about decision. So what is ethical decision making? Ethical decision making refers to the process of evaluating and choosing among alternatives in a manner consistent with ethical principles. Basically, when you do a case study, is about decision making. So when you make a decision making, you must make sure it's consistent with ethical principles. So whatever ethical principles that you are following. In making ethical decision, it's necessary to perceive and eliminate unethical options and select the best ethical alternative. So when you are making a decision, the first one is to eliminate. The easiest one is, okay, I cannot do this, you eliminate first. What is not ethical? Then from the possible ethical solution, you choose the best. So if you do this, you will generate trust, You sustain trust, demonstrate respect, responsibility, fairness, and caring, and consistent with good akhlak. If you do properly ethical decision making, inshallah the outcome will be the best. Okay. I think this is covered in the case study, so I'll skip. Okay. Decision makers, actually professionals, okay, engineers, they have some troubles with their daily activity in terms of management they used to implement. So sometimes we will faced with problems in management. So you need to make a decision on a certain situation. But it's very complex, and sometimes you don't know, you cannot predict what will happen. So therefore you need to make a few series of possible, possible, what do you call it, things that will happen, and you decide from that. I still need to finish this, because otherwise sibuk kita habis. So maqasid syariah. So be patient with my me sneezing. Okay, maqasid syariah. So where is maqasid syariah? Maqasid syariah encompasses the different values towards any action and deeds which are embedded in Islamic prioritization. So this is where, when we want to make this decision making, we include maqasid syariah to be part of it. In the case study, in the case study video that I showed to you, okay, I wish somebody can can replace me. Okay, so in the case study that I showed you, there's no, I didn't mention about maqasid syariah, but maqasid syariah can also be part of the decision making and the case study. So it depends on you how you want to bring that in. Okay, I'm just giving a hint. So if you put that, you get extra marks. So maqasid syariah will help you to prioritize what is the best, what is the most important thing to do in that situation. Is it to preserve life or no, or preserve wealth? Okay. So maqasid syariah is very important in ethical decision making in view of Islam. Do you know what is maqasid syariah? Do you know what is maqasid syariah?
It's the objectives of Sharia.
Okay, can you tell me what are the components of maqasid syariah?
To preserve aql.
Preserve what?
To preserve the mind. To preserve the wealth.
Wealth. What else?
Protection of religion.
Religion, deen. What else?
Nasab.
Nasab, lineage. Okay, so before that, before we go to maqasid syariah, let's discuss what is syariah. Sharia refers to a set of rules, regulation, teachings, and values governing the life of Muslims. So basically, it's our code of conduct. So it's rules from Allah that we shouldn't go out. So it's like a boundary, as I mentioned before, that we need to follow. We need to be inside this boundary of Sharia. So it covers everything from worshipping, ibadah, morals, individual attitude, conduct, as well as political, social, economic, criminal, and civil sphere. So it encompasses everything. So it's a command of Allah. The Sharia, we believe it is a command of Allah, so we have to follow. So now, maqasid, as mentioned by the brother, is from the root word maksud. Malay we use maksud juga maksud, which means the purpose or the objective of the Sharia, and the goal and purpose of Sharia. So we have the Sharia. We will need to understand also why the Sharia is there. Why are we not? We can think of why we're not allowed to drink alcohol or something like that, right? So what is the purpose? To protect what? Okay. So there are three categories of maslahah in when we discuss about the maqasid syariah. You have covered this in your UNGS, right? Yes or no? Have you covered this maqasid syariah in another course before?
Yes.
Yes. So I don't have to repeat, right? You all remember?
Yeah.
Okay. If you remember, let's ask Nur Aina Wahida. What does daruriyah means? You understand from your own perspective. So if I don't show this, what is daruriyah in your own words?
Basically, what I understand is it's like the
Aina?
okay. Basically, what I understand from this Daruriyah is our self-interest. Basically, what we believe in, how our lifestyle, how the background of our life, basically of someone lah. Maybe
You
for
explain
me,
daruriyah.
maybe.
So what's the
My
difference between
self-interest.
daruriyah and hajiyat?
Not so sure.
So you learned this before?
The essential. No, I don't encounter this before.
You did your NGS, right? It's a prerequisite before you can do Gen, right?
Yes.
So I think you should cover this in your NGS.
I'm not so sure. Maybe I forgot this before.
Okay, let's ask another person. How many of you remember? Shafiqah, Nabila, can you explain? Shafiqah?
Yeah.
Yes?
I don't remember.
You also don't remember?
Yeah.
So what do you remember from your UNGS? Tell me.
I think what I learned from the NGF is our lifestyle regarding towards the Islamic lifestyle, about the ibadah, about because I'm taking it at first year, on first year.
So fourth year, we forget everything that is important in Islam, no? Or what?
No.
No. It's okay, sister. I just
Sorry,
want to check because I think generally many people don't. I'm wondering. Because in UIA we teach you a lot of things, but many students forgot many things. So let me check with Zul Hafiz. Can you explain this, Zul Hafiz? You are in your second year right now?
Yes.
So it's fresh in your mind. Can you explain to us? Have you taken this?
Yes.
Huh?
Daruriyat.
Daruriyat, Hajiyat and Tasniyat. What are they?
As far as I remember, the terms Daruriyat is for the basic need for human. If there is no other need, the civilization will go down or destroy them.
Good. Hajiyat?
Like food or Hajiyat is what we call half Daruriyat. Like there's no need much.
Huh?
Is it true? I do remember about Hajiyat.
Oh, you remember Hajiyat?
Daruriyat, I remember.
Okay. Tasniyat? I think there's something wrong in the typing in this slide. It's all, dia dua cantum. So, okay. What I want all of you to do, go and Google this later, not now. Make sure you understand, and if you have question, we can have a discussion next class. What is Diarrhoea, Hygiene, and Tahsiniyat? You already covered this in your NGS. I'm not supposed to repeat it again. So, but since you already learned it, go and Google and try to, I'll be ready. I will ask you to explain to me next class. What are the trees and what are the significance of the tree? Okay, so make sure you do that, brothers and sisters. I will just call your name. If you forget to do that, there will be consequences. Okay, because you can use that in your case study, 30%, you know, it's a lot. Okay, there are these are the in what do you call it, domain in the Maqasid Syariah priority based on the protection of deen, religion, protection of life, nafs, protects of intellect, you know, akal, protection of progeny or lineage, that's nasab, and protection of wealth, al-mal. So when we make any decision in our life, brothers and sisters, we need to consider these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. And it doesn't always protection of the deen come first. It depends on case to case basis. Do you agree with me or no? Or the protection of the religion should come first always? Do you understand my question? If you understand, I will ask you. Do you understand my question?
No, madam.
Yeah, madam.
Huh?
I think sometimes protection of life can come first before religion. For example,
how?
if you don't have food, if you're stuck somewhere and you don't have food, you're allowed to eat pork if that's the only option to survive.
Yeah, so it's against Sharia to eat pork, but at that time, because you want to preserve your life, so you are allowed to eat pork. So that will fall into the daruriyah portion. Another good example I'll just share with you, right? If I ask you, if you are given a money, a lot, like millions or billions of money, to create a city, okay, what is the first building that you make? What are the buildings, the first buildings that you make? If you are supposed to make a new city, right? Which, and based on Maqasid Sharia, how do you explain it? Okay, anybody wants to try that? Do you understand my question? So now I give you a lot of money, so set up a city, a new town. So which buildings should you put first, and explain it in terms of Maqasid Sharia?
I think providing like source of food and water is the most essential thing we have to do.
I say building. Which building first?
Hospitals, and then masjids.
So you say hospital first, and then masjid. That's Bashir's answer. So basically hospital. I just asked one question. What is the first thing? So you say hospital. Who else wants to answer this question?
Housing area, madam.
Housing area. Why?
For people to live.
Yes. So at that time, so if you think about it, right, you don't build a masjid first. So you build house first. So because the house will protect the life. They have a place to sleep. It will also protect progeny, lineage, where you will, you know, the non-mahram cannot see you. You're not sleeping in one big building also. So it will also protect of wealth. So then the masjid will come later. The hospital also later. There's no point having a hospital. There's no house. Right, so yeah, so it means that this Maqasid Sharia, the way you look at it, it depends on the case, and you need to explain which one becomes the Daruriyah, Hajiyah, and Tahsiniyat. The three you need to explain me this next class. What is it? Okay, it's already here, but I won't go through it. You can read it, but I want you to understand it, because I also want you to give an example that you use maqasid Sharia in your life. Maqasid Sharia is not only to use to make big, extreme big decision. As for example, you are the rector or the prime minister, yes, you have to use it. But as you student in IIUM, or you as a son or daughter, you can also use maqasid Sharia in decision making. Okay, so have you ever used maqasid Sharia in your decision making, your life decision making? Anybody? So so the answer is we should, and this is because this is the objective of Sharia. Everything in our life should be in line of Islam. So this is the way. The best is we need to think, okay, if I want to buy a new clothes, okay, it's just a simple, you want to buy new clothes in Shopee, or you go to the shopping mall, use maqasid Sharia to determine whether should you buy the clothes or no, or should you give the money to the poor, or should you buy or just make just mend the old clothes. So maqasid Sharia can be used in any decision making practice, including engineering, especially in engineering. So this is like what do you call it, the mind map for the source of Islamic engineering ethics. See this, what is it? So we have sources, primary and secondary. Okay, oh, very nice. So they already put the objective. So Sharia, the objective of Sharia is these 5 things, and they are the way to the right path, Sharia Kubra, Sharia Kubra. So they are the big commands of Allah, and you have some smaller which are not so significant Sharia, and also and you have the Sharia classification in terms of Aqidah, Akhlaq, and Fiqh. So the Aqidah involved. So our life should be based on Sharia. And what is Sharia? Is all things related to Sharia. So we should know everything here. And in the Sharia also, we should have a true Aqidah. Belief, Iman in Allah, angels, divine revelations, kitab, messengers of Allah, Rasul, Akhirah, and Qadar. And we should have in Sharia also including akhlaq. How do we behave? Our attitude. What is our working ethics with our colleagues? And also part of Sharia also the fiqh ibadah, fiqh munakahat, muamalat, jinayah. So these are all Islam. This is all Islam. So as a Muslim, we cannot say that I just want to focus on this Aqidah. I don't care about the fiqh or akhlaq. Or some of us want to say, I want Aqidah and fiqh. I don't care about akhlaq. I will follow the fiqh to the ruling, but I will make somebody hurt from my akhlaq. That's also not right. So as a Muslim, it should compasses everything here. What's the time now? 2:58. Now let's go to the professional ethics. Okay, just now we talk about Islamic ethics. What is it? What is the background to it? And now we want to relate it to the professional ethics. So what is professional ethics? It's a set of standards adopted by professionals to govern their actions and their particular profession, often listed in a code of ethics for that profession. Okay, basically professional ethics means you have a standard. So if we are an engineer, we have standards for engineers that will govern, that will structure our actions. And normally we have code of ethics for that profession. So as an engineer, you also have code of ethics. We'll cover this later. So for example, normally a professional ethics was stated in formal code. So later we'll talk about all the professional bodies for Board of Engineers Malaysia, Institute of Engineers Malaysia, IEEE. All these have its own formal code. As an engineer, we have a code. Okay, how do we behave? And the professional code of ethics will be focusing on the issues that are important in that profession. So, for example, IEEE is more on the electronic. So there will be a code of ethics which is more important to the electrical electronics. The civil engineer will have their own professional code of ethics. Okay, code of ethics. Code of ethics ni macam is just a list. Code of ethics is a list to advise us how to we behave as an engineer, a good engineer. Okay. Professional ethics is supposed to take precedence over personal ethics. For example, you have your own personal ethics, your own belief, but when you are enrolled as an engineer in a country, they will have their own professional ethics. So when you have to decide your own personal ethics or the professional ethics, you have to follow the professional ethics. But generally, the professional ethics is not against Islam. Okay, professional ethics sometimes differ from personal morality in its degree of restriction of personal conduct. There be some cases whereby the professional ethics are slightly different than our, moral. Okay, so at this time there will be a maybe conflict. Now, so what is a profession and occupation? Okay, engineer. Do you think it's a profession or a occupation? Engineer.
It's a profession.
Why?
Because as it said, it requires a degree of computer study at university. So maybe most all companies of engineering must require all of their occupants to have a degree of engineering at least.
So anybody who doesn't have degree in engineering, can they become an engineer? No.
No.
Cannot. Forever cannot. So for example, you can be a teacher. So you take an engineering degree. In the end, you can become a teacher. But somebody who take a degree in teaching cannot be an engineer. So why? Because for professional profession, you need to have a degree or complete studies in university or higher education with extensive training and special knowledge. So not everybody can do this. Okay. So example professions are accountants. So we cannot suddenly decide to become accountant. We have to take certain courses to become accountant. Architects, the same. You need to go to the degree of architecture to become architects. Doctors, engineers, lawyers, and teachers. But teachers, I don't know why teachers are here. Teachers, engineers can become teachers. But somebody who don't have a degree cannot become teachers. So, okay. Occupation is the way you earn a living. So anything can become an occupation. Occupation is an activity that occupies your time and from which you receive money of doing it. For example, occupation can be, can you give example of occupation? Example tak ni? You don't need a specific. For example, occupation can be this. I think this is a good example. For example, this person study in a teaching university and become a teacher right now. So it can be a profession. For example, this person he did a degree in education, but now an actor. So his degree is not in line with the work. So it becomes occupation because you're not specialized. So in Malaysia, there's a what they call legal. There's a legal to identify which is profession or not. For example, if you go for Malaysian government, there are certain occupation which are recognized as professionals. And they have, in terms of salary, also different. Those who are professional or no. Engineers, lawyers, accountants, doctors are considered professional. But if teachers, teaching, and then like teachers and teaching physics or this, they are not considered professionals in terms of the legal of Malaysia. So it depends from country to country. But in Malaysia, it's like that. Okay. So because another thing, profession, they have, profession is another special thing about profession. They have like a body to govern. They have code of conduct. The others may not. Okay, so they have a body that will look after the profession. For example, we in engineering, we have Board of Engineers Malaysia. They will look at whether the engineers are competent or no. They can sack you, they take your license as an engineer. Doctors also like that. Accountants also like that. Architect also like that, right? But others, they don't have a body that in the end can determine whether you are, you are apa layak in English?
Eligible.
Not eligible. Qualify. If you are qualified or not to be to take that profession. For example, teacher. Suddenly, tomorrow I want to become a teacher. Possible tak? Possible, right? So there's nobody who can like take the. You can become a teacher of any private school. So nobody say that you cannot. But as an engineer, you need to go through this body that in the end acknowledge and certify that you an engineer. Okay, question. I think we asked this before. Being a Khalifah and an engineer, why do you want to become an engineer? We had this discussion before. Why you take certain, certain degree, majoring? Why you want to become an engineer? Yeah? So it's very important to reflect this in terms of, as a Khalifah. So I will skip this. So engineering profession. So engineering profession need to perform under a standard of professional behavior. So everywhere you go in the world, they will every country will have its standard engineering standard of professional behavior. You cannot behave like other people. You have a set of code that you need to have a standard. Meaning that I will go through the code later. So we are bound to this standard. What is engineering? Engineering is the process of developing an efficient mechanism which quickens and eases the work using limited resources of technology. My question, what is the difference between an engineer and a physicist? What is the difference between an engineer and physicist? Physicist.
I think physicists.
Or scientist lah. We say scientist. Yes.
They physicists know the theory, while engineer use the theory and do the problem solving.
Okay, so engineer doesn't know the theory.
Yes, we know, but not that deeper. And like we use the theory that we know to solve the.
So we are like, we don't need to know deeper than the scientist, physicist.
Kena tahu. Yes, we must know.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Who else wants to try? Fikri. Is Fikri here? You want to answer, Fikri? Are you there, Fikri?
Yes, madam.
Can you answer that?
Don't know lah, madam.
Jawab something. What's the difference? So then all of you should become scientists. Don't have to become an engineer. I asked the dean, all my students wants to transfer to Kuliah of Science. It's the same. Fikri, answer.
Different between engineer and scientist. I think scientist is more to doing research, and engineer is scientist more to lab things, and engineer more to something solving a practical problems. I guess.
Okay, do you agree, Alif?
I think so too, madam.
Okay. So betul lah tu, it's correct. So we engineers, we are more practical, and we living in a real life solution. We give real practical solution. If you talk to scientists, they don't care about the practical solution. They say I want this. So for example, we engineers, we are very we need to consider a lot of limitation, number one, and number two, we need to consider cost. Right, to build something for scientists, they don't care the cost. I just want the building like this, like art or artists. They want this nice. They don't care about the cost. It has to be like this. So scientists, something like that. They will do the experiment. They don't consider much the cost. For us, we are living in the real. We are supposed to provide solution to society. Scientists, they need to find answers to a particular particular problem, phenomenon. Okay, scientists, they want to answer the question, why is it like this? As an engineer, we are supposed to provide practical solutions to the society. So that's why engineers are there. We are supposed to serve the society. Society can be the doctors, it can be the old people, children, human being, and all human beings. So and we should consider cost and other limitation. Basically, the difference, I would say, cost lah. We are very, our boss will say, do this handphone, your cost shouldn't be more than 500 ringgit. Then you have to do that. So then, your boss will say, do another handphone, the cost you can go up to 10,000 ringgit. So we work based on the the condition they give us. So we give practical solution to the society. Okay, let's go back. So engineers have ethics. So that's why this course actually ethics in relation to engineering. So engineering will also have its own ethics. On top of the Islamic ethics, we have engineers ethics. So the non-Muslim, they will not learn about the Islamic ethics, but they will have engineering ethics. Okay. So engineering ethics is the study of decision, policies, and values that are morally desirable in engineering practice and research. So engineering practice is everything. When you want to practice and do research in engineering. Okay, what is this? From the Western perspective, this what is engineering ethics? An area of inquiry that studies behavioral practices in engineering, what they have been in the past and what they are now and what they should be. So everything anything behavioral in engineering is called engineering ethics. I don't know, what is this? Wait a second. Sorry for that. Okay. As a Muslim, from Islamic perspective, what is engineering ethics? It's the same as it's similar to the Western perspective, but it should be bound by the rules of acts of worship in Islam. So it's bound by Sharia. Okay. So this engineering ethics should be in line with what the Sharia says. Basically, that's the conclusion. If you read a lot of this, the maslahah, mafsadah is also based on Islam. I don't know why people are calling me now, sorry. So there are different types of engineering ethics. You have prohibited ethics, ethics that you shouldn't do. For example, bribes, conflict of interest. We'll go through in detail about this later. And we have aspirational ethics, where that you give guidelines and motivating consideration for engineering expertise to promote well-being. So basically, in aspirational ethics, you can think of what you want to do in the future. Okay, aspirational ethics is the ethics what you want to do in the future. Preventive ethics is the ethics that gives a guideline to prevent harm to the public. So meaning that when you do the case study, for example, you want to use this preventive ethics. What are the guidelines preventing harm to the public? Because normally case study, they talk about the public interest. So you need to think before the thing happens, what things you can do to prevent it from happen. But sometimes the case study already happened. So you need to, if it's already happened, you need to do it differently. If it's not happened yet, you are designing something, but you know in the future something will happen, harm will happen. So you need to have a guideline on preventing so that harm will not reach the public. What are the things you should do in order to make sure harm doesn't go to the public? Okay, I'm going to skip this one. I will explain this one. Okay, case study. Do you know about this story? The Space Shuttle Challenger story? No? Never mind, you can Google about this. This is one of the show, the engineering ethics, where we have problems occurring and many died. Okay, many died. So if we don't do properly preventive ethics, people might die from whatever we made. So it can be a rocket, it can be a building, it can be a handphone. Somebody can die with a handphone, you know, it will explode maybe, or a laptop. So therefore, ethics is very important as an engineer, so that nothing, no harm will reach the public, okay, or anybody or any human being. So this one, you can Google this Space Shuttle Challenger, Space Shuttle Challenger. Google that, you will see some videos, and it will show you what are the problems in this case study. So skip. What's the time now? What's the time? 18. Okay. Apa yang slide ada lagi? Engineering Preventive Ethics. Okay, I think that's all. We'll continue next time. So I will give you the case study. Although we haven't covered everything yet, you can read the slide. The slide is there, right? In the, what do you call it? In the Google Classroom. So you can use the points over there in order to answer your case study. Okay, although I haven't covered everything, but it's there. You are all smart people. Even if I don't cover the slide, I think you can understand. Maybe I think what I will do, if I don't have time to cover next class, I will just give you to read certain slides to certain slide, and we have a discussion. Maybe that's better. Do you want that? Oh, by the way, but next Monday, we don't have class, right? We have class on Tuesday. Monday you have class? Today's Monday, right?
Yes.
Sorry for that. Saya dah lost. Okay. Next Monday. Sorry lah. Saya banyak sangat benda kepala saya lately. So next Monday there won't be any class. Next Monday there won't be any class. So most probably I will give you the time to use to answer the case study. So I will give it today. So you can also try to complete in next class as next Monday. But this Wednesday, I hope that we can have class. If you don't have class, I will give you the list of which slide to read from where to where. And for the next class on next week on Wednesday, we have a discussion on that. Okay? Boleh? Boleh ke Hazira? Okay ke?
Okay.
Okay. I think that's all for today. Let's have a rest, everybody. Try to, you know, be safe and be healthy. So I will need to, I think, rest after this. Saya dah allergic, tak tahu makan apa. Okay, so can we have somebody to recite a doa, brother, before we end? The person who never recited doa before.
Can I, madam?
Okay, Alif, go on.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu syafi'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Rabbana faghfir lana dhunubana wa israfana fi amrina wa thabbit aqdamana wa ansurna 'alal qaumil kafirin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wasallam. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thank you very much, Alif. Let's end the class with tasbih kifarah and surah al-Asr. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus solihati wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. Don't forget to do your project. Although we have these classes and assignment and case study, the project should go on. And maybe I should also share later on the Google Classroom the template for portfolio. So you know what you need to make sure all meetings you record, not record, take photo evidences of your meetings online, and also your activities while doing the project. Make sure it's recorded. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, madam.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, madam.